Hello Yu-Gi-Oh players and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Business Casual. I am the RJB0. So today, I am not actually particularly prepared for this video. I've been working until about 5 minutes ago and I realized I can take a break and give myself a little time for a video, and by a little time for a video, I mean like 20 minutes. So today I really wanted to send you guys the deck review that I've been promising you guys since last week, which is Thunder Family. But first I should probably do a little housekeeping. The reason why I have been kind of semi-absent from my channel, more accurately why I haven't been putting up my program as regularly as I promised that I would be, is because I have this massive final story due for my journalism studies, and I had a week and a half to do it, and for some reason beyond my comprehension, something possessed me to take on the most controversial issue in the greater Northwest region. So I've been kind of swamped with getting contacts and all that boring journalism stuff that you guys don't want to hear about. So let's get down to my deck review of the Thunder Family. As usual, I'd like to start with what I really liked about the deck. Though you can't say that the deck is particularly fast, this deck gains major momentum. It requires a wee bit of graveyard setup, or if you use this little guy, Thunder Seahorse, who is like the most broken card in the deck, it does take a turn to get stuff in your hand, but once you get that graveyard set up, once you get that stuff in your hand, this deck just keeps rolling. I mean, once you get two of the Thunder Family monsters in your hand, you have a rank 4 Xyz on the board. And one of the reasons why I decided to talk about Thunder Family today, as opposed to back when, it's actually started getting its support, back when it started being good, when Thunder Seahorse came out, all of that fun stuff, is because really right now is when they are getting the big support that they need. I don't mean in the main deck. They pretty much got everything they need for the main deck. But what's really big is what they're getting in the extra deck. And I want to talk particularly about Constellar Omega, Starleash Paladynamo, and Constellar Ptolemy M7. Those three things are going to be changing this deck quite a bit. You're going to see this deck gaining a lot more focus, a lot stronger of a win condition. And what was I saying? There was something really important. I was talking about what I liked, and I was saying going for rank 4 Xyz on your first turn, basically. So putting a Constellar Omega on the board is a pretty big deal turn 1, because once you put that on the board, they can't Mirror Force it, or Torrential, or Bottomless it, or anything like that. They basically have to rely on going maybe a minus with their Effect Veiler, or having that Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment in order to get rid of it immediately. And you do run your own little traps here, so it's going to be very difficult to get that Constellar Omega off the board once you put it on the board. More importantly, what's it called? Photon Paladynamo, or Starleash Paladynamo, is going to be a major asset to the deck. Why? Well, because it is a one card, it turns recycling batteries into a one card out for anything, because you can use your recycling batteries, which is a ridiculously broken card in this deck, to get monsters out of your graveyard. You can get like a Paw and a Sis, and then you summon the Paw and summon the Sis, and the Sis banishes something. You overlay for that Photon Paladynamo. You can get rid of an Ophion. You can get rid of a High Priestess. You can get rid of basically anything the hell you want. And then at the end phase, you get something back from your Sis Hunter. So that is pretty freaking amazing. And Ptolemy M7 is just icing on the cake. Once you've got that Constellar Omega on the board and survived a couple turns, it's used its usefulness. You can put down that Ptolemy M7 on top of it, and now you have a 2700 beater that can bounce stuff during your opponent's turn. So crazy shenanigans going on there. The other thing I really like about the deck, and this is just kind of a personal thing, is Violon Prism and the fact that it can go for level 8s very easily. Level 8s are some of my favorite cards in the game as far as synchros go. I really love Scrapdragon, I really love Stardust, and one of the greatest things about this deck is the ability to go for Crimson Blader. Why Crimson Blader? Why is that so important? Well, imagine you're fighting a mono Mermail deck, and, well, you run over something with Crimson Blader. What are they going to do the next turn? Are they going to synchro for Gungnir? Oh, wait, they can't. Are they going to discard for Megalo or Abysteus? Oh, wait, no, they can't. So having a Crimson Blader on the board is amazing. Not only that, but But this deck can play anti-meta in other ways. It can go for the speed spam thing game 1, but then back off of that spamminess and go into a macro game, game 2, which is really great because, of course, Thunder Seahorse does not have to go to the graveyard in order to use its effect. So the ability to play the macro game, the momentum and speed, being able to put rank 4s on the board, being able to put level 8s, including what's it called? Crimson Blader is freaking amazing. Stardust, or the new Stardust Radiance Dragon, is going to be amazing with this deck, with Violon Prism, especially Stardust Radiance Dragon. A, because it's a light, and B, because you don't have to get rid of it from the field in order to keep it from being destroyed, which means that you can put Violon Prism on the darn thing, and then equip it, and now you've got a 3,500 beater that the only way for your opponent to get rid of it is by banishing it or something like that. Because, well, it's 3,500 attack points, and once per turn, it can make itself not be destroyed by battle or card effects. So your opponent can, like, go Dark Hole or whatever they want to do, and it'll stay on the board. So it's pretty great stuff. As far as the issues with the deck, right now, I think it's just lack of support in the extra deck. If they don't have, you know, those outs to big cards on your opponent's side of the field, if they can't get that turn 1, you have to wait for a little while. That kind of sucks. But that is what brings me to my tech of the week, which I have in here. It is Card Trooper. Because with Card Trooper, you can just put a ton of graveyard setup down, and then you run 3 of this bad guy right here, recycling batteries, and you can, you know, use Card Trooper and then grab those cards out of the graveyard. It adds a ton of speed to the deck, which is very helpful. The other things you can do in order to speed this deck up, of course, is use Thunder Seahorse and then normal summon a Ryo and put some cards in the back row to give yourself some turn 1 presence. And other than that, I really don't have a whole lot to say about it. If I missed anything, and I think I did because there was something that I was thinking about before I made the video that I forgot. Oh yes, Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is kind of a big problem for this deck. Once you're playing the macro game, you don't have to worry about it so much, but with the possibility of Effect Veiler going off, you have to be able to protect the deck a little bit. Honest will be helpful, especially once Constellar Mega and Ptolemy M7 come out, because then you can actually use them with your Xyz monsters. But it will help you in the case of Veiler. Other than that, you have to run a pretty solid back row. Torrentials, Mirror Forces, Bottomlesses, etc. But you should be just fine for the rest of the game. I personally really think that this deck is going places. I think that you guys should get your Thunder Seahorses as soon as possible, because they're going to go up in price once Constellar Mega comes out, and Ptolemy M7. And I don't know, just try this deck out. It's really good, it's a lot of fun to use, and I highly recommend it. And since I've got a lot of work to do, this is the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.